Here, look here. In this example or in this transaction, we have 6 statements are there or 6 instructions are there. First, what I am doing is I am opening account A. Reading A means opening account A. And here I am subtracting rupees 50 from this account A. And I am saving this account A. Then after I am opening account B, that is read B. Then B is equal to B plus 50. And then I am saving this account B. Here what happened? From account A, rupees 50 have been transferred to account B. This is the transaction here. So here, suppose I have opened account A and I have subtracted rupees 50 from account A and I saved. Then assume power has gone. Then what happens? From this account A, rupees 50 will be subtracted, but it is not added to the account B. So then what happens? The money is not added to the destination account, that is account B, but it is subtracted from account A, that is source account. So this is a drawback. If this situation occurs, then the database will become the inconsistent. So to overcome from these kind of situations, a transaction need to have some requirements. If a transaction is completed successfully means, or to complete a transaction successfully, a transaction requires 4 properties. A transaction requires 4 properties. Required properties of a transaction. First one is atomicity requirement. Atomicity requirement means that if any failures occurs in while we are executing a transaction, if any failure occurs while we are executing a transaction, then either all the instructions have to be executed or none has to be executed. That means if all the instructions have been executed means the transaction is completed, or none has to be executed. That is called as atomicity requirement. Suppose if few instructions have been executed, then automatically we will get inconsistent database. As I said you, for example, here, as I said earlier, read A is equal to A minus 50, write A. This means I am opening account A, I am subtracting rupees 50 from this account A, and I am saving account A. Then assume power has gone. Then what happens? Total instructions should not be executed. That means these 1, 2, 3 instructions should not be executed if power failure occurs. Otherwise, all the instructions have to be executed. That is called as atomicity property. Atomicity property means either all instructions have to be executed or none has to be executed. That is called as atomicity property. See here, I am reading in this atomicity requirement under this. If the transaction fails after step 3 means here write A. That means 50 has been subtracted from account A and A has been saved. See, if the transaction fails after step 3 and before step 6, step 6 means we have not saved this write B, money will be lost, leading to an inconsistent database state. That means if this is the situation arises, then the inconsistent situation will occur. That is what atomicity requirement means. Either all instructions of the transaction has to be executed or none has to be executed. That is the property of atomicity requirement. Next, durability requirement. See, durability requirement means before executing the transaction, if the database is consistent, that means after execution of the transaction also it has to be consistent. For example, assume that in the account A rupees 1000 is there. Listen very carefully. Wait a minute. Few more students are inserting here. Just I want to add them. Just I am adding the students. Some students lately joined. I am adding them. Okay, now look here. Assume that in account A I have rupees 1000. Assume that in account B I have rupees 2000. In the account A, I am subtracting rupees 50 from this account A. That means account A will have 950 rupees. Am I right? Now I am saving this account A. Now I am opening this account B, and then I am adding rupees 50 to this account B, and I am saving this. Then after this transaction, account A will have 950 rupees, account B will have 2050 rupees. So if I am adding before transaction, A plus B is 3000. 1000 plus 2000, that is 3000. After transaction also, A plus B is 3000, that is 950 plus 2050, that is equal to 3000. This is called durability. Before transaction and after transaction, it has to persist. That means it has to be a consistent database. And next is consistency requirement. Consistency is nothing but the sum of A plus B before transaction and the sum of A plus B after the transaction has to be equal. Then it is called as consistency. And next, isolation requirement. This isolation requirement means that every instruction has to be executed independently. Every instruction has to be executed independently. 1 minute, some more students are adding. I am just adding them. Now, look here. Here, when we are executing transactions, some transaction may interfere into another transaction. For example, look here. Here, T1 is there, T2 is there. T1 is transaction 1, T2 is transaction 2. In transaction 1, what I am doing is read A. That means I am opening the account A. A is equal to A minus 50. That means I am subtracting rupees 50 from this account. Assume A is equal to 1000 initially. Next, I am saving this account A. That means right now rupees 950 is there in the account A. Now see, after this instruction, I am executing T2, transaction 2. After this instruction 3, T2 has been executed. That means what is there? What are the instruction here? Read A, read B, print A plus B. That means read A means 950, read B is 2000. Print A plus B means 950 plus 2000. That is 2950 rupees. 2950 rupees. So, see, if you see here, before transaction, it is 3000. That is A is 1000, B is 2000. That is 3000 total, A plus B. But here, if you see 950 plus 2000, that becomes what? 2950. This is inconsistent. That means in the middle of the transaction, you are not supposed to enter another transaction. Here, T1 has been executed. Instruction 1, 2, 3 have been executed. And next, T2 has been entered and it is displaying sum. That means before completing T1 only, it has been executed. That is what we are getting inconsistent results. What is that inconsistent results? A plus B will become 950 plus 2000. That is 2950. But we are supposed to get 3000 before transaction and after transaction. That is what isolation property says, that if a transaction is executing, no other transaction should interfere into that. After completing that transaction only, another transaction has to be executed. This is called as isolation requirement. So to execute a transaction successfully, the transaction will have 4 properties. What is that? Atomicity property, durability property, consistency property, and isolation property. Now, look here. Acid properties. In the assignment, I have given you this question. Acid properties. See, 3 more students are adding. I am just adding them. 2 seconds. Okay. Now, acid properties. You can note down acid properties. For a transaction, what is a transaction here? A transaction is a unit of program execution. What is a transaction? A transaction is a unit of program execution that accesses and possibly updates various data items. To preserve the integrity of data, the database system must ensure 4 properties. What are those 4 properties? See, acid. Acid means ACID. A for atomicity, C for consistency, I for isolation, and D for durability. So, atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. That means when we are applying a transaction on a database, if it has to be executed successfully, it has to be satisfied 4 properties: atomicity property, consistency property, isolation property, durability property. 4 properties have to be satisfied. So what is atomicity? I told you consistency, isolation, and durability. And next, here, see, actually the time is very less here. Now let us see the states of transaction states. We have 5 transaction states are there. We have 5 transaction states are there. See, active state, partially committed state, failed state, aborted state, committed states. There are 5 transaction states are there. How many states are there? 5 states. A transaction may be in active state, a transaction may be in partially committed state, a transaction may be in failed state, a transaction may be in aborted state, a transaction may be in committed state, right? Like these 5 states will be there. What is this active state? When the transaction is starting its execution, that is called as active state. That means the transaction is in the active state. Now, see, look here, active state definition. The initial state, the transaction stays in this state while it is executing. In the starting state of a transaction is called as active state. Partially completed means after the final statement has been executed, it is called as partially completed, but final statement is executed, but it is not saved. So that is called as partially completed state. Next, failed state. Because of any reason, if we are unable to execute the transaction in normal condition, that is called as failed state. See, you can read here. After the discovery that normal execution can no longer proceed, if we are unable to execute the transaction normally, it is called as failed state. Now, when the transaction is failed, it will be aborted. Aborted means the transaction comes to its initial state or the transaction will be cancelled. The transaction will comes to the initial state or the transaction will be cancelled. And next, committed. Committed means when the transaction has been executed successfully and finally it will be saved in the database. That is called as completed state. See, for this we have a diagram here. Look this diagram. You can note down this diagram. See, transaction state diagram. It is like this. See, active state, partially committed state, committed state here, and under this here failed state is there, aborted state is there. Now, see, active state. Whenever the transaction is in active, it may go to the partially completed state. After that, it may be committed, or from the partially completed state, it may be failed. After failing, it will be aborted. Or from the active state only, it may be failed and it may be aborted. Like this, the transaction states will be there. Okay. So, see, actually, I would like to explain few more topics. Concurrent executions is there, but here time limit is there. Only half an hour time has been given for us. But in the next session, very soon I'll take another session, and about this you give me feedback for my personal WhatsApp number, so that in the next session I can conduct it successfully. Okay, now, dear students. So you people just give the feedback to my personal WhatsApp number, and so that we can improve it in the next session. Only half an hour time has been given for us. In the next session, we can come. We can take the concurrent execution of transactions. The topic we will cover. Would you like to ask any kind of question on this? Anybody? Yes.
Personally, I will ask, sir.
Prashant, ask me.
I will send in WhatsApp, sir.
Okay, okay. Now, did you understand anything about this transaction concept?
Yes, sir.
A little bit. Am I right?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, okay. Of course, I will share. I will share these PPTs to you through the WhatsApp for all. Okay, now.
Okay, sir.
And I think internet speed has to be more. Then only we can hear very clearly. Of course, you people give me some feedback so that I will improve in the next session. Okay, now, dear students. I am stopping this. Anybody else want to talk to me? Anybody want to talk to me?
Next session epudu, sir?
Very soon I will inform through our group. Okay, na?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Only Prashant is
Okay, sir.
talking. Anybody else are there? Dear students. Okay, time is over. I am stopping now. Okay. In the next session, we will again meet, and I will share the PPTs through WhatsApp. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.